My subject, it's kind of a fun subject.
Ooh.
It's time travel.
Going out on a high note.
Yeah. Do you think time travel is possible? Do you think we'll ever develop it? Because I personally think no. I don't think it actually is possible.
I think it would be neat, but I think...
It would be neat.
I don't know if it's possible, but I can tell you that once we're done with talking about if it's possible, I would love to talk about a world in which it could be possible. So,
And where you would go first?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I could tell you the world that would be possible, but it wouldn't even technically be time travel.
I would, let's begin with the other question at hand.
All right.
First of all, is it possible? I don't know.
I
Maybe,
don't-
maybe one day in the distant future, but definitely not now. Definitely not in our lifetime.
I don't think so because I feel like time is
There's so much.
sort of just a concept. It's not an actual force.
Right.
Right? Like 5 o'clock isn't really like a thing on the universe. It's something we use to describe a point in time.
Yeah.
You know, September 11th, 2001 is just like a point, like a specific moment that we all remember, and we can measure it using like math, which is something we invented. And like
It's all abstract. Is what you're
right,
saying,
so there's no way, like I feel like there's no actual physical way to manipulate it in any way. And I've heard other scientists say like they don't think time travel is possible, but then I've heard other scientists say, "Oh yeah, I think I could do it," but she just can't. She won't stop.
Just ignore. I know that sounds shitty, but I've learned from being a stay-at-home parent that if she's playing by herself, just enjoy the time that you have to yourself.
Okay,
She seems to be enjoying it as well.
yeah, but
I mean, I'm not much of a science guy, so I don't know what kind of technology you would have to have available. No one does, I guess, to make time travel possible, unless we have like Doc Brown creating the flux capacitor here.
In a DeLorean.
Yeah, I know. I don't believe time travel is possible either.
Maybe, like I said, I like to remain hopeful for the distant future. I know
mean,
I would never see it.
I mean, they could prove us wrong. People said that like invisibility was impossible, but they're starting to develop it now. Like there's ways to bounce light off things and make it so you're not seen. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, because with invisibility, there's at least there's scientific concepts in there. There's light. You can bend light and all that stuff. So you could make it work.
Right. She's agreeing.
She's going off.
She's got the tiny phone in her hand. She's trying to talk to people. As far as a world where it could be possible, I think you'd have. Remember the first Family Guy movie when Stewie saw an older version of himself on TV?
Right.
I think if you regulated it like that, it's a very expensive vacation, and they send you to a specific time, like for a week, and then you come back. It would have to be like let's say there's a company that specializes in this, and I go in there and I'm like, okay, I would like to spend a week in 1985. I like the 80s. I like their music. I like their fashion. I would like to spend some time in 1985.
I want to go see Return of the Jedi in theaters.
So they say, okay, well, what we're going to do so that you don't stand out.
Why specifically Return of the Jedi?
Because it came out around then.
Okay.
They're gonna say, okay, so what we're gonna do is, so you don't stand out, we've got wardrobe for all kinds of time periods. We're gonna dress you up in an 80s wardrobe.
But you're going to come back naked anyway for doing Terminator rules.
I didn't say Terminator
There's a lot of
rules.
Terminator rules.
I didn't say Terminator rules.
Yeah, well...
Wait, what is your device of time travel?
Yeah, but
first
that's
of
the
all?
thing.
I would say like maybe the warp thing like in Star Trek, except with time travel.
I think if time
Energize.
travel was possible, I think Terminator rules are probably the most
Josh, you
realistic.
just want to show everybody your big old dick.
Yeah, I'm just saying. No, because think
Hey,
about
if
it.
it was Terminator rules, I get to show everybody my
Think about
perfect
it.
sculpted ass.
Think about it. They're sending you like one way. How the hell are you supposed to come
Go
back?
In the middle of the...
they give you like maybe some kind of object that helps you come back. Like the landing pad with Family Guy.
You don't know what the weather conditions were like.
Maybe it's
Return of the Jedi. Your dick might be
Maybe
all
it's
shriveled
something
up.
that maybe it's something that's kind of works for almost every time period. Like a watch. Maybe they give you a watch. Just don't travel back too far because watches didn't exist forever.
Yeah.
But let's say that they give you like a watch or a wallet or something, to hold on to that brings you back.
I just have like this image of Josh like going back to the day Return of the Jedi came out. It's like windy outside. There's a big group of people making line outside a theater. He comes Terminator style, his dick all shriveled up. He's like, I should have taken the DeLorean.
But like, you know, they
Sorry, random thought. You guys got me all excited talking about the method of time travel.
But you get to go back. I get to spend a week in 1985, kind of experience the culture, experience the music firsthand. You know,
see Duran Duran in concert. I don't know.
It's a little off topic, but since he specifically mentioned 1985, there was a panel at WonderCon this year. Since it's the 30th anniversary, they were just being nostalgic about movies that came out in 1985. I didn't actually go to this panel. I just asked my brother, how was it? He was like, oh, it was fucking terrible. It was just a couple guys having a conversation about like movies and not involving like the audience whatsoever. He's like,
so it was basically like that one panel we went to with James Cameron and Peter Jackson.
He's like, oh yes, 1985. The movie was Enemy Mine. starring
so it was like NPR Live.
Enemy Mine, huh?
The movie was
anyone?
Hello?
Huh? Anyone at all?
Welcome to Thoughts for Your Thoughts.
All right, back to what you were saying. 1985.
But you know, like then they give you like a countdown on your device, whether it's the watch, the wallet, whatever.
That'd be a good romantic comedy.
How much time you get to spend there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like you paid for a week,
Matt,
so we've set a week.
We can write it. We can write a romantic
comedy. After this, we can
go
back.
Where he's like, I'm in love with you. 3, 2, 1. And then he has to like work up the money to go back to that moment.
But
that could be funny. We'll get Eddie Murphy in it.
Because we need to save Eddie Murphy's career.
Yeah.
The caveat.
No, we'll get Brendan Fraser. He's the time traveler.
There you go.
Who else's career can
I love this idea.
in this film?
The caveat is that if you're gone for a week, then you're going to come back a week later.
That's not true. You could come back at the exact moment, so no time is gone.
Here's the thing. You're technically going to be a week older. You've still lived that week.
You're going to be, but you can come back 2 minutes after you left.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But I think that the caveat is so that you don't get confused with your own dates where you're like, technically today's my birthday, but it was actually 2 weeks ago.
So
so you come back a week later.
But you could just choose.
Does no one else want to travel to the to when Adolf Hitler was born?
World?
Sorry.
I'm
getting too excited. Okay, the year Adolf Hitler was born and just fucking strangle him in his crib.
Oh my God.
This is actually no,
I want to go back to when he was in art school and be like, that's a beautiful painting, Adolf.
I'm glad he brought that.
You should pursue that.
I'm glad that you brought that up.
You should pursue that. Yeah, exactly.
Nice colors here. Just pursue this. Yes.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because that's another thing that I want to talk about. Is about time travel is time a straight line, or do alternate timelines exist?
Like I said,
like Back to the Future.
Like I said, here's the thing about alternate timelines. So, like I said, if time I don't think is an actual force in the universe, I think it's just a concept. But if the universe is infinite, think about this for a second. If the universe is infinite, that means that everything that's ever happened or ever will happen has happened somewhere.
Did you ever think if we told Adolf Hitler to pursue his career in art that we would create some kind of paradox in Hit World?
I mean, okay, so like if the universe is infinite, everything that's ever happened, like there's a universe where right now I just flipped this fucking table. There's another universe where I just stripped naked. There's another universe where all of us never met.
There's another universe where you're butt naked watching Return of the Jedi.
Exactly. There's a universe where like we don't do anything fun tonight.
We're all women.
You know what I mean? There's another universe where we're all women. That's just it. There's another Earth.
Can you imagine what that would be like?
There's another Earth, I should say, not another universe.
Where it's just three of us as women talk about pussies all the time, and our long-suffering boemboyfriends.
They're like, oh my God.
Like, this is what I got into, I guess.
My girlfriend's so annoying.
She's always talking about pussies. I don't know.
Puss.
But
the joke being, if you didn't know, we always talk about dicks.
So
I don't want to be crass here.
So instead of time travel, I think if you could find a way to target a specific Earth, like I want to go to the Earth that's exactly like this one, except right now it's 1800, but it played out exactly the same way as it has been doing here. And in an infinite universe, this is possible. Then you could warp there.
Now you don't only want to travel to alternate times, but you want to go to parallel.
No, I'm
Earths,
saying
is that what you're
saying time travel itself is not possible. And if it is, but if the universe is infinite, that means that everything that's ever happened or will happen or every other variation of something that's happened has happened somewhere on another Earth.
As long as we don't travel to Hit World.
The thing
Hit
that
World
I like,
exists.
the thing that I like about
terrifying.
time travel,
It's just a big Earth with a mustache.
It's like fucking Apocalypse from DC Comics. There's some fucking Hitler's on the throne.
It's the thing that I like about talking about time travel, and this we see this in comics and movies all the time, is alternate timelines. And are they real or not? Like,
No.
Like, here's the thing. Okay, indulge me for a minute. Okay. Let's say that we do go back and we try to kill Hitler, or we try to persuade Hitler, and we change the timeline. We change history.
And then someone worse takes his spot. Yeah.
But on the flip side, where time is a straight line, where you can't change anything, what's to say that in whatever year it was, someone
For Hitler, it was the 30s.
Okay, in the 30s, someone did try to encourage Hitler to old Adolf to
just do painting,
to keep painting,
to
and
calm
drawing,
the fuck down,
and someone kept stopping him. Something kept getting in the way. There's a good bit that gets covered in 52 Pickup, the Booster Gold comics. We're big Booster Gold fans, where every time Booster Gold goes back into time, he inadvertently creates something that has already happened. You know, he goes in and he talks to Guy Gardner, and he's like, my dad's sick. We don't really get along or whatnot. And he's like, you should really go see your dad, because who knows how long he's going to be there. And so he's like, you're right, I'm going to go see my dad. And Skeets is like, you know what you just did? Guy Gardner would have been closer to Abin Sur, and he would have been the first human Green Lantern. You just sent him farther away. Now Hal Jordan is closer. But and he tries to prevent Barbara Gordon from getting shot, and he can't do it. Somebody keeps stopping him.
But that implies that destiny is a real thing, right?
Sure, or that you can't stop time.
But then it's
that time is literally just a straight line.
But then it also,
whatever happens will happen.
Like, the problem with that is that means no one has any free will, and that there's some force or something that is already set in stone. Or is it like that things that have already happened can't be changed? Is that it?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Is that it? Or is it that, like, there's some force, like, managing time?
No.
You know what I mean?
It's just that, like, in every instance of the past, let's say that like, at this moment, I could either get some water, or I could get some more Coke, right? And then I get Coke. That's the decision that I've made.
Somewhere on another Earth, you got water.
Right? in your version of events, right? But if time is a straight line, there's no version of events where I get water.
Right.
There's just it's just I've always chosen Coke.
Right.
So
that's if the universe isn't infinite. Like, if there's an actual edge or an end to it.
Now, I'm not saying that I don't like your idea. I love it.
Right.
I think it's great that there's infinite possibilities for all the choices that we've ever had in our entire lives.
That's if. This is a big if, by the way.
Like, I love that theory.
You know.
But I'm just saying, a great counter theory is the idea that you can't change anything. You've already done it. It's already happened. That's how it's going to play out forever and ever.
Right, but
Hitler's
then it's like,
always going to rise to power. He's going to kill a lot of people, and it's going to be awful.
Right, but
Cosby's going to rape a lot of people.
Right, but Hitler already happened, so, like, if you went back in time and tried to change that, like, that would, like, time would literally unravel, right?
Right.
So, is it that things in the present, you actually do have a choice, and that you're shaping time with your actions, or is it that you are, like, time already knows you're going to get the water? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the real fundamental question. Like, if then it's like, then you would still have free will, even though I think free will is stupid and it doesn't matter. It's this whole, I mean, that's another subject for another time, I think, because that's a deep, it doesn't matter.
It's kind of, in its way, like, the future is set in stone, you just don't know it yet.
I don't think it is.
Like, you're gonna make your choices, and they're gonna be tailored to you. It's not like you're like, well, no, I'm being driven down this particular path. You're still making your own choices. It's just that time has already figured out, like, he's gonna make this choice, he's gonna make that choice, he's gonna do that, and he's gonna.
I think
this is where he's gonna end up.
I think you could if you were like.
It's like a movie where you know how it's gonna end every time that you watch it. You know, there's no way that you're gonna be able to change it.
Yeah, but are you talking in the past, or are you talking about now?
I'm talking about...
Because the way you're describing it is like...
I'm talking about...
Is that like, you know what's going to happen to me tomorrow, I can't change it.
No matter what, the present will not be changed. There is... Let's say this. There's no such thing as the butterfly effect.
Uh-huh.
Because no matter what happens, you go back in time, you were there. Like,
right.
So, like, who's to say that you go back... I go back to 1985. Who's to say that in 1985, there wasn't a version of me that didn't exist?
Who had gone back
that
in
was
time.
only there for a week.
Right.
You know? So, who's to say
But that's your, like, governing theory that, like, time in the past... Like, if we could go back in time, it could not be changed.
Right.
Right?
And that would actually...
That would imply
that would make the idea of time travel vacations easier, because it's like,
yeah.
do whatever the fuck you want. You're not going to change a thing here.
Yeah,
there's no risk of you coming back.
Some security guard's going to stop you, or...
There's no risk of you coming back, and everything is fucking different.
But what if there was, like... this would be a good comic book idea, actually. What if, like, you went back in time and, like...
Trademark.
And there was, what if there was some sort of force that stopped you from literally... Like, you could change it, but there's actually, like, something that governs time and stops you. I'm not implying, like, there's a god or anything, but I don't know. That seems super far-fetched to me. This is implying, like... We're talking about if it actually was possible. I don't think it is, so this is all kind of hypothetical.
But it's like a force of nature.
Right.
Like, let's say... And we're going to get a little morbid here, because this is the first idea that popped in my head. Let's say that, shortly after I was born, my mom died in a car accident. Mm-hmm. So I go back to that year. I'm like, I want to grow up with a mom. Fuck. So I go back to that year, and I try to find her, and I try to stop it. I get to the point where, like, she's in her car. Maybe she gets hit. She gets T-boned in a fucking intersection. Someone, runs the red light. She's at the red light, and like, I'm over here. She's at the red light. I'm like, wait! Don't go forward. This guy's gonna run a fucking red light. Let's say I get fucking hit by a car, because it's a force of fucking nature. And who's to say that someone didn't run a guy over then too?
Right.
That just happened to look like me.
Yeah, but if you stopped her from getting run over, you would... What would happen to you? Because now you would never, like, if you...
Now it would just play... but now it would just play out. It would be
because then you would never have gone back in time to stop it in the first place.
No, that's not true, because it's after I was born.
No, but look, okay. The only reason you're going back in time is because you're...
A different version of yourself would exist after. No. That's what he's trying to say. So that version
I don't think
existing in that space might be gone.
No, here's how it goes. Okay, so... I'm dead. The car ran over me and killed me in the past.
Oh, I thought you were... Well...
Or maybe I do get to go back. But still, like, I go back and it's like, that still happened. Like, freak accident. It's like, oh, that's weird. Somebody else got hit in that same hit and run. By a different car.
Right. Here's another question, though. If you
it turned out to be me.
If you go back in time and talk to yourself, is that actually you? Because... You're only experiencing you at the... It's like if you clone... Like, if I died and they cloned me, is it still really me? Or is it just something that's been assembled with all my memories that looks like me? Am I actually conscious in this new clone? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I don't think so.
I think that there's, like, a subtle difference where it's like, he's got all his memories, but he's just not quite the same.
Right. It's like
this is not the same guy that I joked about dicks.
There's an old argument in the atheist community about, like, the whole, like, you can't disprove this. A good comeback to that is, well, you can't disprove that we were all created like 10 minutes ago with the memories of everything that happened in our life. You know what I mean? We wouldn't know any different if we just popped in and we thought we're just going. You know what I mean? So, like, what's the point? Like, that's not a good argument. So. Yeah. That is, I don't know. This is a deep subject.
But yeah, like, it would just kind of be cyclical in the car accident thing example, where it's like, she died after I was born. I'm still going to grow up. I'm still going to try to go back to try to stop it. I'm still going to get hit by the car. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's the idea.
Who's to say you might have stopped that accident, but she might have been hit the very next day, or I don't know. There's always
or even that, like
you're always going to be setting off by stopping that. You might set off another sequence of events.
But he's implying that that's
no
the butterfly effect.
Yeah, that there's no such thing as the butterfly effect. That no matter what you do, something's going to stop you, just like it did with Booster Gold.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
so what would happen to your time traveling self if you're the one who's hit by?
If I'm still hit by the car, maybe
would you cease to exist, or
no?
In his current state, he would.
Yeah.
I would die.
The other alternate timeline that he created would be.
If I get hit by the car in 1985 or whatever year it is, I die.
But then that's the other question that goes back to the clone thing. Is it really you? You know what I mean? Like, if I die back in time, am I like I don't?
It's, the idea is that like she dies in 1990. I go back in time to stop it in 1990. Let's say I die in 1990. The version of me in 1990 still grows up without a mom, goes back in time to 1990, dies in 1990, and it becomes a circle over and over and over again. That's the idea. I'm so glad that we chose this topic because it's so rife with conversation.
Yeah, but the other thing that I'm saying is like if you were even able to stop her from getting hit and you didn't die, you would cease to exist. Because
if I didn't die,
there's an alternate version of
because now that grew up with a mom, now your current and would never have gone back in time.
Life might have gone a completely different path.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
That's in your version. I'm in case you haven't been following, I'm championing the time of the straight line. You're championing. You can change it.
We should mention that every single thing we've brought up is like not.
My mom is very much alive.
I mean, like it's not proven at all.
It's all theoretical.
It's all not even theoretical. It's all hypothetical. Like
it's all like
a theory.
What if,
a theory in science is something that is like proven. It has fact. Like gravity. Gravity is technically a scientific theory, but gravity's real. You can do this.
I don't believe time travel is possible either. But I mean, as much as I think time being in a straight line has high entertainment value, if we're talking about Booster Gold, I think I have to agree with Josh's theory of,
I get that.
If you did change it, what's going to happen to that current version of yourself who's traveling through time?
I don't even disbelieve it. Mm-hmm. I just think that it's good to talk about both sides of the coin. Like can you change it or can't?
That's the thing about time travel is like because we don't know that it's possible. I don't think it's possible, but we don't know that it's possible, so we don't actually know the rules. So every kind of rule that we've come up with, all the paradoxes that come from it, are all like things that people have made up and written into movies and stuff, and they all operate on different rules. Like like we just said, there's the Terminator rules, there's the Back to the Future rules, there's what are other time travel movies that have like different rules? I know there's some other ones. I'm drawing a complete blank, but
there's a lot.
There's a lot of them, but yeah.
I mean, and it's not like it's solid in even Booster Gold. Like we just talked about, the same book where he inadvertently causes all of the events in the timeline to occur, and he can't. He causes Hal Jordan to be Green Lantern. He can't save Barbara from being shot. He still managed to save Ted Kord and change the timeline. Like. Some rules apply, some rules don't. But I just think it's good to like mention like both sides and be like, can you change it? Can you not change it?
If you were to change it, I think there would be some kind of paradox, not to the extent that the world would cease to exist, but I mean the world would completely change as we know it.
Exactly. It's such a fascinating topic.
I need to add free will to our list because that's a fun subject too.
It's so good.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I think
that's a good stop place.
Do you want to?
Well, we forgot to say. Okay, let's go a little bit more into detail of what would be your vessel of time travel and what
of choice.
Yeah, and then where would you go? I mean, I don't know if that was a joke or if you would specifically travel to go see.
No. Well, if he was like, you can go back to 1985. Now, I think Jedi was like 84.
Would you go to the past, present? Future, and what would be?
I would go to the time travel. Okay, if I could have any vessel of time travel, I'm not really a Doctor Who fan. It's okay.
You could create your own vessel,
but I would take the TARDIS, and here's why: because the TARDIS can go anywhere in the universe instantly, and it can go to any time anywhere in the universe. So, whereas the DeLorean, can go back and forward in time, it's
Plutonium.
always in the same spot. Whereas, like, the TARDIS, I can be like, I want to be on Mars in
And
1756,
do you know how hard
and I can
plutonium
go
is to
there.
come by in 1955?
Exactly.
Are we talking about pre-established things like the DeLorean and
Oh,
the
I
TARDIS?
was saying you could even create your own vessel if you have something in mind.
I really enjoy the theory that I put forth earlier with the company where they have like they've extensively studied like with a company like that you'd have to extensively study like here are some safe zones for you to teleport into time. You know, this is where you're going to appear. Nobody's going to see you and be like, what the fuck is that? You know, and so you're going to, you know, I think that would be good to just be able to kind of warp.
Just want to observe, is what you're saying.
Warp and...
That was an idea for a comic book that Adam and I came up with that we didn't. It was about historians that go back in time to study events, and they go to study the JFK assassination. They go back and then they unravel this whole thing where it kind of was a conspiracy because if he hadn't been killed, like something dramatic would have happened, but we couldn't figure out like what that actually was. So we were,
Right.
but yeah, I think that would be fascinating. Like I can go back to the signing of the Declaration of Independence or something, or I can go see. You know, I can go see if Jesus was even a real person,
Right.
or I can go, you know, even farther back and you know, there's all kinds of things. I mean, if I could only choose one place to go and then I come back, I would go probably like 200 years in the future, because I want to know if we're doomed or if like everything's gonna be fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't really care about your own future necessarily with the future.
I don't care
That's
about
the future
my
of the world.
Yeah, because it's like, if I find out that the future is this grand kind of place where there's no money and there's no thing, and like everyone can just live, and you know
another good thing
I would be like, okay, now I'm actually going to commit my life to making this a reality because I know it's going to happen. Whereas if I go 200 years in the future and it's just a desolate nuclear wasteland, I'd be like, there's no point, I'm just going to live my life. You know what I mean?
You know what else would be a good idea? Like, say if we were turning my company idea into a comic book or a movie or whatever, trademark, copyright, would be if you had to travel back with a handler. And they're like, this is your designated safe zone that we're going to be.
And then it turns into a romantic comedy.
I'm going to be with you the whole time, making sure that there's nothing, making sure that you don't cause a butterfly effect.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. That would be a very interesting. You know, and it's like, I don't like this handler. I'm like, oh, then we're going to turn into best buddies. And like, we're like Riggs and Murtaugh.
Riggs.
Getting too old for this shit. So, that would be, yeah, I would like to, I think that would be a good way to handle time travel personally for me.
I think that's the thing, though. It could be like so incredibly dangerous.
It would. That's why I think the handler is a good idea.
They would have to come up with a way, like even if they invented time travel right now and they're like, let's try it out, they would have to wait, because they have to say like, okay, we have to lock this thing in a room for like an hour, and then we have to see if we can go back and like, let's not touch it, let's not affect anything, let's like keep it in this room and only transport an hour back into this room and see, and then change certain things in the room so that you're not affecting the outside world in any way. Like, you'd have to be so fucking careful, because you go back in time and you trip over the wrong shoe, and you know that person gets like stumbled out and they get hit by a car, and lo and behold, that's the fucking guy who designed the rocket to the moon or something, you know, and then like it's fucked, and then the Russians beat us there, and then you know, then there's not, you know, all the like American pride in the 70s that, you know, the industrial, you know, whatever. But
yeah, I would say Doc Brown rules are a good way to.
Doc Brown rules.
Doc Brown rules are a good thing to follow. You know, don't talk to your parents. Don't talk to yourself.
It's a picture of you in your underwear on a couch and you're slowly disappearing. You're like, ooh!
This is also the guy who you know, changed history and said what the hell. So
yeah, yeah. But like on the original Doc Brown rules, where it's like, don't talk to me, don't talk to your
it's
parents.
like
Paradox, what the hell?
Yeah.
Don't talk to their parents. Don't talk to yourself. Don't try to use the almanac for monetary gain. You know.
Oh, I would so use it for
Oh,
monetary
I would
gain.
too. Fuck.
Sports
I would.
almanac.
I would I would totally use that.
Sports
for monetary
Almanac
gain.
is the perfect one to do too.
Get a giant fucking house in Los Angeles Hills, live it up like Entourage.
Yeah.
I would, the thing though is that
I've always
if
told Lee
that's
that.
another good question. If I had like $500 billion, like what would you do? That's another guy. We'll write that down.
I would buy.
Don't fucking say it.
Oh my
Just
God,
hang
dude.
on.
Wait till later.
I
think
would.
a fun moment in time to travel to would be 1955, just because that was the grand opening of Disneyland. Also.
That would be
So,
odd. Yeah, but apparently that day fucking sucked. So you might want
It
to go
would-
like
it
a
would be-
couple.
It would be interesting to witness.
Yeah,
what
it would
went
be.
wrong,
It would be
you know?
fascinating to witness, but I think it would be more interesting to go like
Yeah,
5
I
years
would-
in the future when
I
they
would-
worked out all the kinks.
I wouldn't
you
be
know?
able to tell you what I would do with all that money. I'd have to show you because I know a house that I
Now
would
I'm just
buy.
imagining you doing this like Tony Stark thing. There's like money just.
Now
that-
I have like this cool idea. What if
There's like a house that's
in-
like
in the vein of,
95 billion or $95 million that I would totally buy.
What
my
if there was
God.
like a theme park that like took you in time spheres that like had some kind of invisibility cloak in like the vein of Jurassic Park, and they would take guests to like witness certain events and significant events in history, and like someone were to get loose and tamper. Yeah, that's another cool, creative idea to
That's
play
pretty
with.
sweet.
Yeah, I was just that was running through my head.
All right.
We
during
can write
this
it.
whole discussion.
We can
yeah.
after this.
After this,
copyright.
after this, we can go back
Yeah.
and we can write
Actually,
it.
if you say it and put it online,
Yeah.
you can argue that it is copyright.
Copyright, trademark.
Yeah.